If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is April the 24th. Or no. Yes, it's April the 24th, 2023. And today the topic is wake up and pay attention. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Those of you all that follow me on social media, you may already know what your girl was up to this weekend. But for those that don't, let me give you a quick recap. So, y'all already know that Saturday I did the juice. Then after that, I logged into the meeting for the juice check-in. But, just pray for those ladies and whatnot. And then afterwards, I ended up spending a little time with my little man. I ended up just kind of having some moments to play with him. We played with cars and things like that. And we ended up watching some shows and stuff because I knew that I was getting ready to go out. That was another reason why. But, so I took some time to, I guess, be intentional about doing things like that. And it's so funny because anytime I picked up my phone, he's like, Mommy, I thought you said you was going to play, but you're working. I said, I was like, you right, kid? Goodness gracious. He's calling me out, y'all. But, it was nice. It was nice to have those moments with him. Hopefully, again, they are, helping him in his life, making some good memories, things like that. I know I told him my mom is about to go out for lunch and stuff, but when I come back, maybe we can have a movie night because that's become a staple in our home now. So shout out to him and my husband for, again, entertaining me and this idea of us doing things like that. I know I saw somewhere that they say you should do things like that weekly with your family. My husband's like, well, that's just a suggestion. So, maybe we'll start trying to do things monthly like that. But, we'll have a monthly movie night or something, but yeah, it just was nice. So basically, I did go to lunch, so shout out to my homegirl, Alicia. We actually did a few things that day, but we started off with lunch at Sweet Potato Cafe. So we started off with lunch there, then we ended up going thrifting. I just kind of was, window shopping myself, but my homegirl, she got a couple of things. She even got something for me. And I'm like, sis, you did not have to do that, but thank you, And then after that, we were supposed to be getting like dessert because she said she wanted some cheesecake. But we ended up kind of eating again. We're getting like a little snack or whatever at Metro Cafe. And so, yeah, that's what we ended up doing and whatnot. And came on back home. And I was super tired, but, we started the beginning stages of a movie night. Popped some popcorn, husband got some candy or whatever, and obviously I fell asleep. So next thing I know, I was sleeping. Then next thing I know, either I went to bed or husband was like escorting me to bed. Either way, Sunday, y'all. So then Sunday was pajamas and donuts day at church, or I guess specifically in the kids ministry it was. So I didn't realize that everybody was going to be doing it, but oh well. So the people in the kids ministry and the kids was wearing pajamas. So I went, with some PJs and whatnot. I didn't invest in anything new. I already had some that I had used for another event when I was with kids. So I was like, I'll use those pajamas. They seem to be appropriate. And people seem to like them and everything like that. Oh, I didn't tell y'all too. Saturday morning I did go ahead and give myself the unwind experience I did my own nails and whatnot. I did a mani and pedi. I didn't do the whole shebang, like soaking my feet and stuff, but I used my products to upgrade my mani pedi. I'm glad I did, because yeah, I was looking rough. But anywho, y'all, so that's the main stuff that was going on over the weekend. By the time we got back home from church, there was a little bit of a meeting that we had after church as well, because there's some new things going on at the church and whatnot. New ways we're going to be doing things and just all kinds of things like that. I did get a chance to sit in the service yesterday, so that was another great moment as well. It was interesting to hear, the audience's responses to the things that the pastor said that we're going to be embarking on in the next 7 years, and the vision and everything like that. And so, yeah, it was good. Overall, my weekend was great. By the time I came back home, my main thing was trying to get some rest, even though y'all know how that is with I don't know, is NJ still considered a toddler, y'all? I'm not sure. But, I don't think so, right? He's, preschool, right? Okay. Anywho, basically, NJ kept waking me up, and then he kept being like, no, I'm not trying to wake you up. I'm like, you're talking, though, and that's waking me up. Anywho. And then, next thing I know, my husband headed out for, like, a meeting or something he had to go to, and then NJ went to sleep. So, it's a whole thing, y'all, but that was my weekend in a nutshell. And yeah, so there's a lot of other stuff going on, and today is going to be pretty significant, prayerfully, if the Lord's will, in the future and whatnot, because something happened today, but I'm gonna keep it to myself right now. I might let y'all know later, and everything like that. But some moves was made today that prayerfully I'll be celebrating for years to come. And yeah, so I'm excited about that as well, embarking on a new journey, a journey that I have been, like, dabbling with over the past 2 years, going back and forth about. It's not the same opportunity that I was telling you that I've been going back and forth about, the other thing, but anyway, so something got secured today that I will share with you all when it's the right time in the future. So that's something, and I guess all of those different things that's been on my heart and mind. But anywho, so listen, what time did the Lord wake me up this morning? Around, like, I don't know. It's in my notes somewhere, but I can't remember. I didn't write it down in the journal, so my apologies for that. But that stood out as significant because the verse that I came across when I read, the first verse that I came across when I looked up the time, or looked up Bible and the time or whatever, it was, like, interesting. And then, like, my mind has been all over the place again because of the thing I'm launching, as well as, like, just other stuff going on. And so, but at some point I just really started to notice, like, or pay attention to every little thing that was going on. Like, for example, without getting too deep, I'll just say, like, I ended up measuring something, and then that measurement, I happened to put that number in the Strongest Concordance, and that came with something. It's gonna be, I don't know if it's TMI or whatever, but oh well. When I went to the bathroom, I saw a centipede, like one of those house centipedes, and I saw it 3 times, and I'm like, Lord, are you telling me something through centipedes? Like, just all kinds of little things like that I started to just pay attention to. And I just was wondering, as I was thinking about all these different things, it's like, I started to wonder, like, just how detailed that God planned things. Like, is it really down to the hair? You know what I mean? Of detail. And on one hand, I guess the answer is yes. He planned all the way to the hair of the detail. That's how he knows how many strands of hair we have, right? Because he's planned that deep, But on the flip side, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how we all feel about that, right? Like, have you ever sat and thought about, like, is everything that has happened in my life planned by God to the T? Now, I know that might sound crazy because on one hand, obviously we know that there's good and bad things that happen in life, and we don't want to think that the bad things have been planned by God or anything like that, so I do believe that certain things are consequences, or there's certain things that are in place based on what you decide to do, and just all this different type of stuff. But I mean, I guess if you think about, like, this concept of God speaking, that's more so what I'm focused on versus the good and bad. But, like, the concept of God speaking and using symbols and things, it's like, did God send the centipede for me to see 3 times to reveal something? You know what I mean? Like, because I did look, up 3 and, different things like that. And, or the time that I woke up this morning, was that, again, God speaking? Like, I feel like, yes, again, but at the same time, I know that we can get kind of, that can get kind of iffy because then we're looking for signs and all this type of stuff as well. So not trying to, how can I say it? Like, because you observe situations and you're like, yeah, I don't know if God is speaking through that, but he could and can, he could be. So I guess the thing is, like, are we paying attention to these things? Like, even if it's as small as, again, a hair or, the centipede or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, do we pay attention to these little details of things? Or, at some point I started to think about something that had happened in the past. And then I went and looked into that. And then I came across this gentleman's name. And I looked up the gentleman's name. And it meant something as well. I looked up the meaning of the name. And it was very interesting what it meant. And it just was like, did God plan this moment for me to look up that name? Like, it's just, I don't know. But basically, as I was receiving all these different things this morning and thinking about all these different things, I was asking the Lord, I'm like, well, what is the overall message of what I'm receiving here? Because some stuff, again, I think may just be for me and, to receive whatever. Some stuff may be for me to share or not, So when I started to seek the Lord about what the overall message of what I was being shown this morning, I felt like it was wake up and pay attention. Now, y'all may know that that's a quote or some lyrics from this little song that was in the Sister Act, the Sister Act 2 movie, and everything like that. And I was thinking about that this morning as well, because, Lord knows I grew up on Whoopi Goldberg, love a lot of her work and things like that. But, I mean, long story short, I am disappointed to, I guess, witness, like, who she really is versus the character she's portrayed, but that's neither here nor there. And no judgment, because everybody can turn around and X1Z, but that is just something I thought about. I just feel that to just share that, be honest about that. But regardless, I mean, I enjoyed the, growing up on that movie, and everything like that. And yes, it did partially inspire at least the title of this. And then when I looked into openbible.info, and plugged in Wake Up and Pay Attention, here are the verses that I feel led to share. I just want to pull that up real quick just in case y'all want to go and look. But yeah, so here are the verses that stood out to me. Ephesians 5:14. It says, "For anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." So again, I don't know if the Lord is just confirming that I'm a watchman. Like, that's the only title I would say that has, I guess, resonated with me or felt comfortable to me in my heart and mind. When I think about, like, what is my role in the kingdom or something like that. And because I feel like I'm always out here. I'm not that I have a bullhorn or anything, but I feel like I am repeatedly using my voice to encourage people to wake up or encourage people to get into their gifting or things of that nature. And so there was something else that I came across today that led me to Watchmen. I think it might have been that man's name, if I'm not mistaken. But I can't, like I said, there was a lot of things that were standing out to me. But regardless of that, y'all, what I'm saying is this verse here is saying to awake, arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. This is what we need to do in order to, like, start to move into our giftings, in order to, focus on the things of God, be led by Him, all these different things. We need to wake up. We first need to wake up. Now, I know they say ignorance is bliss, right? And a lot of us, I guess, stay asleep because of that, right? We're like, oh, we rather not know this or that, or we'd rather not have to deal with the repercussions of waking up and again, maybe it's the red pill versus the blue pill situation, however you want to look at it. And again, sometimes I do still question, like, well, Lord, why are you telling me this? Or why you got me saying this? Or, why was my eyes open in 2020 and other people's eyes wasn't open in 2020? Yeah, all these different things like that. And, but on the flip side, would I rather be asleep? Or, would I rather be where I was before 2020? I don't think so. Like, I think I much prefer to be where I am now, spiritually, to be hearing from God, to be paying attention to different, things and, ways that he may be speaking to me and sharing and all of these different things like that, walking in my giftings, all those different things. I think I prefer this life. Like, I know that we, possibly could go back and forth about, like, do I want to do the will of God? Like, it seems like it's boring, right? Or whatever people may think or feel about, the option to follow Christ. But, hey, like I said, I can't complain, really, honestly. My life is, I feel like I'm living my dreams. Like, these are the things that have been on my heart and mind. And I've been able to accomplish a lot of things that have been on my heart and mind as I continue down the path that God put me on. Like, when I was off the path and off track, all of these things were just dreams and just thoughts. And I, was kind of getting a little something here and there. But now, again, proclaiming abundance 2023 and all these different type of things is like, and I would say that for example, like, I told y'all last year that I was like, I feel like there's funds coming my way and I need to be a good steward. I need to learn how to be a good steward of the funds. And lo and behold, I mean, I'm in that right now. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to act like, oh, I'm, just making billions of dollars and, all this type of stuff. But what I'm saying is what is coming in is being, I believe that I'm being a good steward over what I have been provided and what has been coming in. And I have to acknowledge and give glory and honor to the Lord, because at the end of the day, I know that before this season, the other season was different, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the more that we start to, again, lean and depend on the Lord or wake up or whatever the case is, then we'll start to, see and hear from God more. And then hopefully we can move accordingly, and everything like that. So just sharing, y'all, just trying to share it, and hopefully to wake some more people up, and everything like that. Because I do believe, again, God is speaking. He's speaking in a variety of ways. And he may just need you to not only wake up, but then also pay attention to the things he's saying to you. It could mean life and death. I feel like I came across some verses this morning, which I guess I should have written down. But I kind of just focused on, this topic today. But basically, the verses that are talking about, like, the connection of, I'll just say it like this might be the connection of your obedience and how that is connected to others. I know the pastor was kind of talking about that yesterday as well. It's like, our purpose is always for the next person. It's not just for us and to build our own, platforms or whatever the case is. Like, everything ultimately is all about the plan of God, right? And what he wants to do and things like that. And, for you to lift up the next person, encourage the next person, whatever the case is. And so, just something to think about, y'all. Just something to think about. Let's keep going. We got Romans 13 and 11. It says, besides this, the time, the hour has come for you to wake up from sleep. For salvation is nearer to us now than when we first believed. Again, I feel like this verse has been repeated over the past couple of days. So, here it is again, y'all. We are nearer now than when we first believed. And I think a lot of people see that in this season, I'm sure there's way more people. I know for sure there's way more people than me out here saying, hey, y'all, wake up. Hey, don't y'all see this stuff going on? Like, and I'm, again, not sitting here saying that I know the day nor the hour when Jesus is going to come back or any of that type of stuff. Like, and Not saying that it's going to happen in this. And I know some people, they have gone as far as to be like, oh, this is the birth pains. It's not, the time X, Y, and Z. But we don't know, right? We don't know in regards to that. But again, there is something happening there. There is a bit of a state of emergency. There's something happening where it's like we need to wake up. As believers, we need to get on our jobs. We need to, use our giftings. We need to do all the things that the Lord has put in us to do. Because, again, lives are at stake, whether it's your life or whether it's the person that's connected to you. Again, your circle of influence and everything like that. And so, there it is again, y'all. But, hey, here we go. So then Isaiah 60:1, it says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you." So, there you go. If you are awake and you are using your gift, and then I believe that, this is for us. I'll put myself in that category. Hopefully, Lord, hopefully I'm qualified for this verse today. That the glory of the Lord will shine upon us when we are in the will of God. Like, I'm sitting over here trying to encourage and inspire anybody, right? Anybody that's willing to listen to the sound of my voice, whatever the case is. And I do understand that, maybe everybody may not be in my circle of influence. Maybe some people may hear me and then not hear me, and things of that nature. And on one hand, I know that I try to share out of love. I try to encourage and inspire out of love, I try to just share my testimony because at the end of the day, I know God is not a respecter of persons, as they say. Like what he's done for me in my life, I know that he can do for you and everybody else, right? And so, and the reason I know is because, I watched others in the past and I saw God had done it for them, and it gave me hope that he could do it for me. And here I am, passing that to you or whoever else is listening to the sound of my voice. Now, does that sound crazy? I don't know, will everyone receive it? I guess not, I guess that's the answer to that. I would hope and pray that everyone does, but everybody, has their own salvation to, I guess, responsible for their own salvation at the end of the day. And they got their own choices to make, maybe certain timing, all kinds of things like that too. I mean, even if I was to share, for example, some of the things that have been flourishing in this current season for me, right? Like I said, today will represent a day of celebration in the future, if the Lord's will, right? But this thing that I would be celebrating is something that has been like a seed that had been planted like years ago. Like, I don't even remember when it was, but, there were seeds planted back then that are flourishing now, right? And so that's the thing. Like, I think sometimes it's all about making that first step towards whatever it is, and that's the toughest thing to do sometimes, to make the first step. But I hope you're encouraged and inspired to do so, because, I mean, again, the reason why you're listening to me every day, whoever you are listening to the sound of my voice, if it's every day or not, the reason you're listening to me in this moment is because I took the first step back in 2020. And, and like I said, to God be the glory for all things, because I have no clue where I would be if I did not go ahead and be like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this thing. There's so much that has come from that first act of faith. And, yeah, I mean, so much would be different, like so many different, I have no clue. Like, I mean, okay, yeah, I was already married. Yeah, I was already a mom. But in regards to GSL, like, would GSL still have been in my head? So that means all the meaningful conversations that I've had since 2020 would not have happened. You know what I'm saying? The books, because I wouldn't have never met my international dream team. So that wouldn't have been nothing. My books would still have been ideas. A couple of the books was only created because of certain, the training that I had went through. So they were created in that same year. So I I really don't know where I would be if I did not take that first step of faith. And I don't know if that's scary. I don't know if I would say that's scary. But that's just something to think about for me in this moment. I'm like, and I didn't even think about that this morning when I was doing this. This is just a thing that is happening right now in this present moment. Like, where would I be if I didn't take the first step of faith? Like, sharing daily inspiration, over 1,000 videos on the YouTube channel, just hitting a goal of over 500 subscribers not long ago. I want to say over the weekend, I got a notification that we're at 30,000 views on the channel. The channel wouldn't even exist if I didn't take the first step of faith back then. So, listen, I don't know. Listen, I'm just glad. I'm glad that glad that the Lord woke me up, did the extra shake, whatever it was that set this thing in motion. I'm grateful for. And so I hope that whoever you are listening to me is encouraged and inspired to take your first step of faith as well. Whatever that may be, whether it's trusting the Lord, the beginning of, believing that Christ is Lord, if that's the first step, by all means, go ahead and make that choice, friend, or whether it's, embarking on whatever the Lord has gifted you to do, again, lives are at stake, and it could be your life as well as, like I said, your circle of influence. At the end of the day, yes, I mean, God will do his will, and everything will go according to his plan, whether we do the thing or not, right? But I think there's still power in each individual person. So some went deep with that, but there it is. Ooh, Lord. So then, Ephesians 5:15, it says, "Look carefully, then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise." So again, I'll read it. "Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise." So one bit of wisdom I do want to share because when I was thinking about this, I touched on it earlier, this idea of looking for signs, right? Or this idea of paying attention to signs. I think there's something to it, right? I think there's something to times you may wake up, right? I think there might be something to, seeing something repeatedly, or yesterday, what did I hear yesterday? I heard twice. I heard the phrase, what was it? The yellow light or something like that twice yesterday. Things like that, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's something to those things. So I'm not trying to take away from that as or anything like that. But also, we got to be wise, right? We got to be careful. Obviously, the enemy can use signs and things too. So when we're looking into things, I guess one thing that I would suggest, if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you want to put this into practice, and you want to hear more from the Lord and things like that, I would stick to, for example, looking up biblical resources, right? Like, when I Google, I don't just say, show me what 5:15 means, for example. I literally always say Bible 5:15. And even sometimes I got to go deeper beyond that, because we know that there's other types of, religions out there that have created their own Bibles and whatnot. And some may sound similar to the Holy Bible of Christianity, right? And so we got to be careful about that. Like, go and do a double check, right? Like, there was something I saw in the past that I told y'all about. Like, I looked up the verse and it looked like it was in the Bible, but then when I went to the Bible app to confirm it, I couldn't see it, and I was like, that's weird. And then come to find out, it was from the Book of Mormon. So that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all, we gotta be, let's use wisdom. Let's not just be led by anything. I know people talk about angel numbers and all this type of stuff these days. Like, let's just stick to biblical resources. If you're a believer in Christ and everything like that, and you want to hear from the Lord and things like that, then I would say let's stick to biblical resources. I found that the Strong's Concordance has been, something that has enhanced my studies and researching and things like that. Obviously take it all with a grain of salt. Like, again, y'all know that I use places like dreammoves.com and stuff like that, but I do understand that at the end of the day, I have to, again, be led by the Lord. Like, There's some things that I read that may not resonate, or it doesn't seem to be confirmed in my heart and mind, if that's what the Lord means. But there's some things that, automatically, is enlightening and is confirmed in my heart and mind and whatnot as well. So again, I guess I just want to share that piece when it comes to this idea of wisdom. But regardless, right, the verse alone, again, it's the third time saying it, so I don't know if you needed to hear it 3 times, but here you go, friend. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise. So just something to think about right there. Now, I mean, there's plenty of verses to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. Some of it might be pulp, things you might not want to hear. But I believe it has something to do with us waking up and paying attention. So I hope that you guys go check out the Go Deeper section and, let those verses resonate on your heart, souls, and minds. Or marinate, excuse me. Let the verses marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. Also, I want to just put out there, I didn't write it down, but if you're listening to me, you made it this far, then maybe this is for you, friend. If you are getting ready to embark on this journey of looking into things, again, seeing repeat numbers, or waking up at certain times, or seeing repeat, having dreams, whatever it is, right? And you're seeking wisdom in that regard. Then, or you feel like you're not hearing from God. I think this is for the people that feel like they're not hearing from God, right? I guess I challenge you to, again, start paying attention to things of that nature, right? If you notice that, man, I keep waking up at 3:59 every day. That's strange. Google 3:59, Bible 3:59. You know what I mean? And see what comes up, Now, if it resonates with you, cool. If it doesn't, okay, but at least you go deeper. Or at least you're showing the Lord, hey, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say, Lord. And I'm going to be obedient and not to me now, but to the Lord as he's talking through me, I would say. Be obedient to being intentional about hearing from you, right? Again, if you're noticing things over and over, like, this just came to my mind, it's gonna sound crazy, but oh well, here it is. You keep seeing black cats, man. You never know. Now, I know they got suspicious things connected to that, but what I'm saying is, you just never know. Like, just go to openbible.info and put black cat in. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it amazes me all the time, like the different things that, just the verses that come up when you put random things like that in. It's not that the verse has anything to do with the black cat, right? But a certain verse might pop up for whatever reason. I don't know what kind of algorithm they have there. I don't know about all of that. But sometimes certain verses come up, and it's just very interesting, what they say and stuff like that. And so I just hope and pray. I'm just putting the challenge out there, friend. That, again, if you made it this far, then this is for you to try to be more intentional about hearing from the Lord, paying more attention to the different things that you see, hear, dream, and all those different things. And hey, y'all, I guess that's the juice this morning. That is the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is 2 Corinthians 9:6. It says, "But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, not juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
Everyone is stuck at home, but life is still happening around us every day. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and celebrations. Send your friends and family the gift of wine from the comforts of home. Wine shop at home with Miracle of Wine. Wine, gift baskets, wine accessories, and more at miracleofwine.com.